Alright, I'm gonna try to keep this short because it is a big topic and I will just dive deeper into it another time, which will be on this channel. But just to cut to the chase here, this is how I make over $100,000 a month. I went from being a broke 18-year-old to a millionaire by 19 because of this, and I just figured, why not share it? Again, sharing it in depth is more efficient because there's a lot that goes into it, but going over the basics here, I mean, it's enough to get some people interested, maybe look into it and see if it's something for you. And even though the amount of money you get for it is crazy, it's not for everyone, which I'll get into later. So it's something called cash cow channels. I never knew what it was called. It was brought to my attention, I think at this point in my life, probably like 4 years ago, where these big YouTubers took an interest in me and had me in Discord calls all the time, and they would always talk about how they're working on their anon channels, which is what they'd call it, and I was like, what's that? And long story short, they just have these separate channels for like TikTok compilations and that kind of stuff. Again, I didn't even know it had a name, but it's called cash cow channels, and it's basically where you make anonymous videos for money. Now, me being a dumb 18-year-old at the time, I was like, oh, that's stupid, because these big YouTubers, they were big in terms of their personal channel that they would talk using their real voices on. Yeah, their channels had a little over 2 million subscribers each, like both of them, and I was like, oh, that's stupid, you already have a big channel, why not focus on that? And they would just say stuff like, you don't get it. And I'm sure at the time they were explaining to me why it pays way more than personal channels, but it was 4 years ago and I don't remember. But now that I have experience with cash cow channels, I can literally write you a whole essay and point out every single thing, every reason why you get paid more anonymously than you do for pretty much most personal channels. YouTube promotes personal channels because it's very family friendly. The algorithm is a lot better. A lot of kids like watching compilations and they will watch the entire thing. Your watch time is increased. What I find is that a lot of people in personal channels will watch the first 30 seconds and then click off. Like, that's literally the norm. But also YouTube does like to blacklist channels, especially commentary channels. So it explains why my channel with 50,000 subscribers made nothing, and a cash cow channel with 20,000 subscribers made me a lot. Now, this excludes personal channels that, you know, are pretty mainstream, like reaction content, you know, money related content where it's very clickable, like giving away this amount of money, you know. Trying to think of some other mainstream stuff. I mean, as of recording this, it's usually just reaction content. Maybe some vloggers. I don't think vlogging's very mainstream at all. It doesn't do well in views. Only specific vloggers can do really well in views, and that would be like a David Dobrik and Emma Chamberlain, etc. So, excluding that, if you do any other kind of personal content, you really don't make money. I had a channel that was personal to me since high school, and I just uploaded on it for fun as a hobby. But I only had like 50,000 subs, and I didn't make any more than $100 total on that channel. And I had that channel for like 3 years, maybe 4 years, and yeah, I really didn't make anything. So when I turned 19, I decided to try cash cow channels because I was reflecting on that Discord call I was in like a year ago at that time, and I was like, I wonder what they meant by that. And so I just got into it. I started with a Reddit cash cow channels. It was okay. It gave me the experience that I needed to have successful cash cow channels, and so I deactivated those channels. But I then started doing animal compilations, which is pretty much what I do. I have some of the biggest animal compilation channels that exist. I have 3 of them, and if you are a person that watches animal compilations, you are most likely subscribed to me. Like, when I tell you I'm the biggest of the biggest, I'm in that category. And I've really worked hard to get to that point. I went from having failed cash cow channels to being very successful with it. I tested it out recently too. I made a channel this year for animal compilations, and I only uploaded like 6 videos, but I immediately have 100,000 subs off of it because I just know what exactly to do to get into that algorithm. The thumbnails are good. I mean, everything about it is really good. And so I guess to wrap this up, because this is a big topic and I want to keep this specific video short, my channel that was personal, that only had 50,000 subs, never made more than $100. For context, my Reddit channel, this isn't even like my good animal compilation channel, it's my Reddit channel specifically that I had worked on for about a year with just 20,000 subscribers. That channel was making me at least bare minimum $500 a day, and that's not even for December or holiday months. And for being a broke teen, that was pretty good for me. I know if there happens to be like a YouTuber watching this, like a successful one, they're just rolling their eyes like that's not shit, that's fucking chump change. But seriously, that was amazing to me. Now I specialize in more mainstream cash cow channels which do a lot better than Reddit stuff, and I make about anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000 a day throughout 4 channels. Each channel makes about $30,000 a month, so if I have 4 of these, you can already do the math. Way over 100,000. And it's kind of crazy to me because I have taught my friends, literally asked me, how are you living this good at your age? Like, you're only 20. How? And I would teach them everything I knew, every little thing that I've learned from, written down things that they shouldn't do to avoid like the mistakes that I've made so that they can have a successful cash cow channel. And they would get so excited, like, yeah, I need this, it's gonna change my life, and then they just don't do it. And I've only 2 people in my life just didn't after getting excited about it and stuff, and after I spent hours teaching them about it. And I would ask them why, and they're just like, you know what, sitting at a computer screen for hours committing to this is just not something I'm interested in, even if the money is good. And it made me realize this is not for everyone. I work on cash cow channels about 5 to 6 hours a day. It's really not for everyone. You can't really think of it like a get rich quick scheme. I mean, it's definitely life on easy mode, but you still have to put work into it. It's still a job. You have to treat it like a job, and you have to be knowledgeable about it. You can't just, I don't know, download a bunch of TikToks and then upload it. Like, you have to actually put some effort into it. You have to know exactly what you're doing, or it's not going to get into the right algorithm, or you're just not going to get views. There's really a lot into it, like little things you have to know, which would just be too long for this video, so I'm just going to wrap it up here. Just know I will talk about this in depth, probably on a private social of mine, so if you want me to be like your teacher on this and help you get a cash cow channel, let me know. But yeah, most YouTubers who are personal do this. They will act like they don't or never talk about it, but they do. The biggest YouTubers do this, people with millions of subscribers. It's flooded with cash cow channels. And it makes sense. If you're not a YouTuber and you try to do cash cow channels, your low knowledge about how to get into algorithms is just not gonna help you. It makes sense why so many cash cow channels are doing well. Again, to wrap this up, lastly, I want to say that this is something that most new people into cash cow channels don't usually think of or do, and that is to start outsourcing your videos. Let's say you have more than 4 channels. It's a lot to manage, especially if you're trying to make like more than 10 cash cow channels. Start outsourcing it. Or even if you have just 1 cash cow channel, outsourcing it should be your goal eventually, because it takes time. You need to upload every day or at least weekly to really make sure you stay in the algorithm and you keep getting views, you keep getting paid for it. Having your videos outsourced and just basically made for you by someone that already owns cash cow channels and know what they're doing, it's just genius. Like, it's just free money basically. Well, not really, you have to pay them. But it basically is because you just make that back with the video itself and more. And so you could just keep having it outsourced. It's quite interesting. But I will say that cash cow channels are not very fulfilling, and I do plan on quitting them pretty soon. I just did it to buy a house. I'm very young, so I obviously don't own a house, but I just did it so that I could buy a house, and I want to focus on personal content. And even though personal content doesn't really make that much, it just feels better. I just like it more. A lot of greedy people are probably like, why? Don't do that. You're making so much money. But it's really not fulfilling, but it's still life-changing nonetheless, like seriously. So I do plan on doing it for like another year, but then I'm gonna start focusing on mainstream stuff that makes just as much money, like reaction content. So yeah, it's kind of crazy because I went from doing YouTube as a hobby, like just for fun, and now that I do it for money, it's just not fun anymore. And I guess that just is to be expected when your hobby turns into a job. I'm not that same 16-year-old high school girl that comes home from school and plays COD and records it and uploads it for fun. My life is just cash cow channels now, and it's just so lame. I will be talking more in depth about this on a private social of mine, which will be linked in the description. If you want me to teach you every single thing I know about how to efficiently and successfully have a cash cow channel, let me know, because I'll teach you everything I know. Really, I've done cash cows for animal compilations, TikTok compilations, Reddit channels, as well as some other mainstream genres, so I can tell you what works the best, how to start outsourcing it, how exactly to get into these algorithms, because it takes more than just uploading. Like, there are things you have to do among some other things. So if you're interested in learning from me, let me know. Otherwise, I mean, I kind of told you how I do make over 100,000 a month, but you don't necessarily know the blueprint yet. And maybe you can experiment, research about cash cows, and try to learn it yourself. Or you could go on easy mode and just learn from me, because I definitely made mistakes. I've been doing this for years, so I could just teach you. But yeah, it's just crazy to think about. Like, I was barely 19, and then just before my 20th birthday became a millionaire, and I will forever be grateful that I got into cash cow content. Lastly, I just want to say, if you need some cash cow inspirations, you can check out channels like Watch Mojo. They are literally the definition of a cash cow channel, or just search up animal compilation channels. Personally, I have 4. 3 out of 4 is just for animals, and the 4th one is a secret. Shh, I'm not telling you. But yeah, and I just work on those personally. And then I have 5 other channels where everything is outsourced. I have a manager for it. They take the outsourced videos and upload it on behalf of me. And I want to also teach people how to start doing that, because life is too short. There's so many YouTubers not sharing this knowledge. And if everyone could do cash cow channels, they're motivated at least, I'm sure a lot of people would be grateful for it. So yeah, just wanted to briefly tell you and then go deeper into it another time, maybe on this channel, but I'm thinking more in depth on a private social media of mine. So yeah, see ya.